My name is Ridha. So I'm how I start is actually I'm a second generation architect lah. So my father and mother actually started the company together. That was back in 1985. So they were both JKR officers. So from there they got their license. They set up Abras Architects. From there, they started the company as a sole proprietor. My father started, and then my mother got her license. Then they combined together, become partnership lah. Then we all come into the picture lah. Slowly, I graduated, and then my sister graduated. We got our license. Then we all joined the setup lah. I would say that my office probably has the most licensed architect in one office lah. We have four licensed architect. Four.
Still got associate architect.
We have one associate architect. We have four licensed architect. So my father, my mother, me, and my younger sister. But the others are all associate lah. All the staff are all associate architects lah. So among early projects of our office, my father start very difficult lah, because he's a kampung boy. So, from nothing, no contacts, then coming from the kampung to here, then he started his firm very small at Kampung Baru. That time I was very small. I was 3 years old, 4 years old.
That time is like literally still kampung.
It's a studio in Kampung Baru. So he started off very small. By the time I was small, he one-man show. And his office was in front of the mosque. In front of the mosque, Kampung Baru Mosque. Kampung Baru Mosque. That time it's shop, so she took the back portion of the place. And from there he started doing small projects like telecommunication punya areas, and he starting to do small bungalows. And then until he managed to break through a few projects lah, big projects in the 80s, in the 90s. Some of the big projects 90s was the Bandar Indra Kota. So he did the whole master planning of Bandar Indra Kota. And then that was in the early 90s, and then a lot of small housing. Then a lot of proposals lah. He did that time. He did a lot of plannings for MBSB. So a lot of big master plans lah. Then in the end of 90s, we started to get bigger projects like we got the Stadium Pelanjaya. So we did the Stadium Pelanjaya, and then for the Commonwealth Games. And then also we started doing a lot of DBKL projects like the arcades Mara, and then arcades for food court in Cheras, while doing a lot of master planning for a lot of projects in Penang, all those things lah. Then after that, I came in back in 2000 plus. I came in, and then we started doing a lot of Sanabi projects, mass housing, a lot of the Alam, USG Heights, Fiker Speak, and then we did the USG Heights. USG Heights we did, and then housing lah, bungalows. Then we did the Bukit Raja, quite a fair bit lah. Civil engineering faculty. We were supposed to do the earthquake center, but it didn't happen lah. But the designs finished lah, just need to construct only lah. But it didn't happen. Government changed budget. But currently we're working on a few interesting projects.
Rugby stadium.
Rugby complex in Putrajaya. That one's quite interesting. There's already awarded contractor, so
still
going to start construction in September. We're settling the submissions. Then we're doing a container resort in Port Dickson. That's 90% already. So all container lah, except for the clubhouse lah. The clubhouse is complete lah. So it's a temporary submission plus we're doing the balai bomber, the kill. Then what else? Just finished a housing project, CCC for Sepang. And a few ID projects coming in. So we're quite we don't actually chase a lot of projects lah. We just do interesting project.
You have a lot of projects also.
Because our project is not really we define architecture, it's just project. So this is also a project.
Oh.
Other businesses are also project.
That's a lot.
So like my mother, she's an architect. She specialized in hospitals.
Oh.
But now she's old. She's a bit older. So now she specialized in cookies. So she make her bakery.
So venture into
Baking bakery business lah. So my other sister is Airbnb, specialized in Airbnb. My other sister specialized in, the architect is specialized in jewelry. My other sister is specialized in graphics and events. So we have all, in terms of our family, we have specific skills that architecture that we complement the architecture, or the architecture complement the.
It's like become one whole package with you.
Yeah, become a whole package. So what happens is that if we have jobs, then people come. We at first
anything also weekends.
so we will ask you what you want to do. You want to do events, then we can supply you the event space. You need training, we can rearrange your training. You need graphics, we can have the graphics. You need design of intricate things, interior design, we'll have the team to do it. So it becomes a holistic design approach rather than
just say architecture.
Yeah. So we package it lah, the big plus the niche. So I think that is the way forward in terms of moving forward for architecture and survival. I think I learned this also from my lecturer in university last time.
I think I agree to this also.
So I mean like yourself, contractor, a lot of architects are actually into construction a lot.
They do construction and do architecture.
Yeah, so a lot of my friends actually two backgrounds, architect and contractor. So I found that the architecture is much more interesting lah. So because they know how to manipulate the architecture and also they know how to construct. So that's so interesting. Okay, that was a little bit background about my company.
So can I say that your parents actually start from contractor also?
No, my parents are all
they work
architects from the start. From JKR, they are.
Oh, but architect in JKR.
Architect in JKR. So my mother headed last time in the JKR for the unit architect. My mother was unit turnkey for hospitals. So my mother specialized last time doing the Selayang hospital, quite a lot of hospital lah. She did.
You mentioned you did. Last time is like. Nowadays it's like mainly residential.
Now we have a few residential project bungalows. We have now mass housing not so much lah. We focus on small niche projects lah, detailing lah, because it's more fun. We've gone to that phase where we've done all the commercial project housing,
Even like high rises also only that few.
So it's not that few, and then one thing hard is that the market actually look high rise. They look for companies that already have experience.
Yeah.
So when you don't have experience, it's very difficult for you to break through. So our forte is not high rise. We have not given a chance to do high rise. So but we're still trying to look for high rise. Although we've done a lot of proposals for high rise, but they call it SEGi. The SEGi is at mass housing, niche projects, other type of projects. I used to, while working with my company, I used to work for Mara as an advisor to Maraing. Maraing is a developer. So my job was not to become an architect. My job was actually valuation for land. So my job is actually to look into all their assets, and then after that I come up with a proposal, looking into urban planning, and then do the yield studies, rental studies to see free risk-based business that can be applied on that land. So if the land is bad, then we don't recommend for anything. Just extend, keep the land, sell off the land. But if the land is good, then we recommend for multiple type of use so that they can do investment for the land. So those are some of other type of things that I have ventured before.
It's actually part of architects.
It could be part of the architect job if the architect is sound and also have that kind of knowledge in terms of you need an architect to become very holistic, not only in terms of architecture but business wise, the business models that's around, tackling people, arranging, and then have this knowledge of what is in demand of the market, what is the supply, what's the demand, how to create the demand, or how to tap the demand, and how to supply. So you have to have that kind of understanding of economics and commerce. So that's the architecture side of my company, my architecture side. But at the side is I do a lot of trainings for young architects for almost 10 years already, help them to get their part 3. So I'm a licensed trainer also under the Minister of Human Resource. So I can train people to do with my partner lah. We do a lot of trainings for young architects. And then volunteerism, I'm in about 8 associations. PAM, I'm a PAM council member currently until September. Then I'm in MIID, corporate member. Also in MIP, Malaysia Institute of Planners, I'm an associate member. Institute of Fire Engineers, I'm also an associate member there. Malaysia Institute of Arbitrators, I'm also an associate member there. And then I'm also a member of Malaysia Green Building Council. Malaysia Green Building Council. And then MRM, Majlis Reka Bentuk Malaysia, LAM, Lembaga Arkitek Malaysia. And then also a member of COAM, Club Award Association Malaysia. So I try to build the people that are working aside to get them to the higher competency. So I try to look at various stakeholders to look at the big picture of how I can build the...
How we can rise the architecture.
So currently I'm in Asia also, I'm the chairman of Young Architects Asia. So I lead the 21 countries lah in Asia. So I have my committees from 21 countries. We always meeting every month.
How do you manage your time?
My management time, it's all about delegating the work. So like my architecture office, my sister is looking after the company. So whenever there's issues or big issues or advising, so I will come into the picture in terms of meeting and everything, meeting with the ministers or meeting with the clients, I will come in lah. So it's just a matter of arranging. For my training, I always arrange my timetable for the year. So it's always 6 months to 1 year planning. So you have Google Planner, so just use Google Planner. Then for this phases, because it's impromptu, like this weekend we have a urban farming event and also shooting with a celebrity. So I have to arrange this Saturday to be free so that I can take care of the shooting this weekend and next weekend. Then in September we have a lot of events also. So how I started this place is after setting last 2 years, I started looking into SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, policy making. So then I group up with my partner, which is a lawyer, multimedia designer. So we set up a multidisciplinary company, digital agency. So what we do is we do a lot of branding and marketing strategies for organizations for complying to SDG lah. Hence my team we created the PJ Kita brand. If you've been to PJ, there's this logo PJ Kita lah. So we are the founder of PJ Kita.
It's like a
branding.
street.
It's a community branding. So we created PJ Kita about 4 years ago. Then now PJ is it's widely used in PJ. So then from there, we thought that it would be a lot of our initiative was more to digital or much more to theory. So we thought that it would be good for us to actually experiment with physical space that we can do with communities. Hence this place, we applied and then we ran the place. So how we run this place is like a social enterprise whereby we make some, we give back to the community. So like urban farming this weekend.
Because I know is like before we started here, it's like under the PKL.
Yeah, office.
It's an office.
Yeah, so it was not so open to public. Now, since coming in here, our team is quite strong. We have we have collaborated with e-commerce. We have Mariana Issa as our head of heritage. And we have Najib also collaborators for 203 Sky. Then we have also the previous people who actually renovate this building. So we call them back to actually assist us into maintaining the building together with us. So we collect the money, then we repair the building, we take care of the building, we make some more money, so we make a sustainable model lah. And then whoever can use, public can use. So it creates awareness to public in terms of heritage preservation and not really we want to.
How is this building?
1905, 115 years. They have maintenance fund to maintain buildings, their assets. But
just that their model is not that sustainable.
it is sustainable. Just because they have money, then they can maintain lah. But it's not sustainable in terms of monetary coming in lah. It's sustainable to them because there's money coming into their organization.
Not that
But this
directly.
but this one is much more of like a sustainable development initiative, like a partnership for the groups, where DBKL actually open to collaborate with a small company like us. We are no one. So, but we are community. So but we have spirit and energy we want to help the community to do this. So DBKL is quite open, and then they are very flexible in terms of events and everything. So that's why this model works, because DBKL is willing to contribute, and then we also want to contribute, and then there's a mutual understanding between the parties.
So it
becomes a holistic approach. Coincidentally, getting this place, I'm an architect, so it's easier for me to take care of this place lah. Coincidentally. But also because my team also, we have a lot of experience with handling publics, so we always know what public
and then
wants.
experience in the
Events also.
We should move into this direction, right? Doing this kind of model, right? Instead of like a very.
It all depends on how you look at it lah. Some architects, they focus, so they do a lot of good architecture. So architecture needs also focus.
Yeah.
So you have an option whether you want to concentrate on the architecture, or you want to be a businessman, entrepreneur that can actually handle architecture plus others, or you want to diversify and treat architecture as hobby. So it all depends on how you want to do it lah. Like me, I treat it as business.
Yeah.
So everything is either business, but also think about how to give back to the community lah. So it's a sustainable business, because you don't know how long you're gonna be in the business, and how long you are well. So just do whatever you can until the maximum, because that's how it is.
Question I can ask is like, what do you see yourself in 5 years later, or maybe 10 years?
Of course, my target. I have a lot of targets with my partners lah. Architecturally with my sister, we see a change of direction where, because we are actually inheriting company, and so it's actually rebranding and actually setting up new company lah. Company, and then which is multidisciplinary lah. That's the future for architecture, because I don't see any. Because it's even Dr. Tan created architect center, then he diversified to
He made other business.
DTLM, Dr. Tan Ahmad. So that the company cater for a specific type of clients. Architect center, so different type of business kan. So like us also, we see eye to eye with his ideology lah. So in terms of architecture, I foresee that it depends on my sister lah, how she wants to take it lah. But in terms of others, I foresee that always my vision is actually I want to bring my training company to international lah. I want to start doing international trainings. Of course, the content is, we always talk about contents, where content that is Malaysian local based, content that is we can bring slightly higher to international. International also, there's a breakup. There's
Different.
developing countries, non-developed countries, developing countries, already developed countries, very very developed countries. So the content is different. So it's so far we haven't been able to break through to this higher level, but breaking through to the non-developed countries is much more easier. Future also, I see that some of the futures that I see now is like a lot of people always talking about technology and enhancing technology, but and technology costs money. It's not easy to balance between increasing technology and finding the money to actually pay for this technology. But I foresee that a lot of this young architect generation will start to look into digital marketing and analytics lah. So digital marketing and business also, there's two. One is actually creating branding and marketing that's quite stereotype lah always. But and then you have the analytics, which is post analytics, where you actually study and then you look at what you want to learn from there and then create more business, right? But the new trends I foresee in the next few 10 years will be opportunity analytics. this I think people have not been talking about opportunity analytics yet, but I've been talking to a few data science people, but it's already starting because after PKP, a lot of the young architects already starting
this year. I think it's like because of COVID, then we were forced to.
So, but that is a transformation of going to the digital. Now it's actually opportunity analytics, whereby people are starting to use Facebook to find project works. Like all the young architects are slowly going into the Facebook and then looking for interior works.
Even Instagram,
they
created their profile.
That one is branding. This one looking for opportunity. So inside the Facebook, there's analytics. People actually public coming in. They actually put their demand. How do we tap the demand? How do we tap the jobs? So these are new things. I actually had a chat with yesterday Grab, one of the Grab data science researchers came here. She wanted to take photo for her wedding. So I had this discussion about how we can actually create opportunity analytics. This is something I create my idea opportunity analytics to create more jobs for people. But I think this is what is Invoke is doing. Opportunity analytics. Invoke is doing opportunity analytics. So, but this is not a new thing because in America, I think a lot of the politicians last time talk about this, looking at analytics and creating more jobs. So I think Invoke is looking into that. I think they will be very strong.
They started quite a few years ago. They started already.
Rafizi is very smart in that. Rafizi is my senior in school last time. So he's very smart guy. So in that batch, there's a lot of analytics. Another one, Berkshire, they're also very strong in data analytics and also sustainable analytics. So there's a lot of things happening.
So you mentioned this is like for our young architect. Then what about
older architects? Older architects are different because they are come from the different generation. They have wisdom, they have experience.
So what can you foresee?
I foresee that the older architects, what they can do 5 years time is, of course, the young architects, they will be very fast in developing their skills, but very slow in developing wisdom and thinking, experience. So these two needs to balance. So the senior architect, what they can do is they can provide platform to actually advise, give experience, learning, sharing experience, sharing best practice, sharing issues in terms of business, taxation. So those are their part is that they should be doing that. And the younger ones, by the time
should be like
it creates an equilibrium or balance.
If the old architecture firm they're not starting to do this now, then maybe in 5 years time,
I can tell you a lot of the old architecture firms they are busy doing the work, trying to get job traditionally. The younger architects, I tell you, they're gonna go.
They're not going.
They go. Either they do architecture as a hobby, or they do architecture, but they're gonna enhance their digital marketing skills. So I don't think the trend will be different. You cannot prevent the young ones to market. Although the law is there, you cannot prevent them. It will create a scenario where it's conflict between the law and also the young architects. Because but I don't know I mean, if you can do good branding, marketing, and then you start to capitalize, create structured opportunity. Now not structured opportunity. We go by word of mouth, meeting people. Very tired. So we want to grab. We don't want to live into fit anymore. We want to grab the opportunity.
That's why.
Opportunity is like one bottle. Okay, one more.
You see it, you want, you take it.
I want to see. You don't want, you put it. You don't want, you can sell it. You can want, you give another person. Share with another person.
Last previous module was like you are really selling this bottle.
Man. So you want this is the opportunity. You want the opportunity or not? I usually look at the opportunity. Okay, I want or not? If it's troublesome for me or not? If this opportunity is good, but I don't have the skill, so I give to my friend. So we can collaborate. So it depends on how you want to do it. But this is business talk. So I'm giving you a lot of big
picture.
Big picture inside, but it's different different angle from other architects because I have a background of holistic, so you get a feel of holistic.
That's why we are here today. So if we were like interviewing like a really conventional architects, would be their business model like you mentioned.
Normal lah, just architecture and then
they get new jobs or they how they tackle their work also like very conventional.
Yeah, because when I do projects like especially like event space, I already can see the whole. Architects can see the whole building. When they do architect do project, they can see the whole building straight away ready. Yeah. But I can envision already how people want to go in already. Where they're going to put the table, what they can do, how to get the money, where they're going to get the money. I can imagine that already. Where they're going to get their grants. I know already how the ecosystem works. So how they're going to maintain the building. So it's another bigger level of holistic. So of course, you cannot build architecture to the maximum of what people need. But you can build to a platform where people can use, or you can transform the thing later on.